All right, welcome back to another week of Prem Trifecta. After, most people in the world see kind of flowers and sunshine and rainbows and positive days, and there's just one little spot in London that wants to jump off the bridge right now. So yeah, we'll just dive right into it and go into I guess the biggest news that recently just happened. Chris, if you wanna break it.
Man, I don't even know what to say. I think past what 72 hours, maybe slightly longer than that since the Fulham game, bro. Actually, cinema in terms of this club and what's going on might be our the biggest 72 hours we've had in the past maybe 20 years. I mean, you go Fulham 3-0 win on what in a game which a lot of people said was gonna be a banana skin, a banana peel. Then you go and you see Everton, and everyone's thinking, like when Doku scores that first goal, everyone's thinking, okay, this is gonna be two or three. Let's just hope Everton keep it at one. And yeah, Everton did concede a last like an equalizer, but still 3-3. Them dropping points, which means that we can slip up once as long as we don't lose and still win the league. While maintaining our advantage on goal difference of 4 goals. And then today, man, our first Champions League final in 20 years exactly, funny enough, and our second one in our club's history, in terms of the Champions League specifically. And man, what a day, what a night. It's insane, man. I mean, the performance, I don't think there's a few standouts, but there's not much tactically to get into. There's not much, in terms of player watch. It's more of just it was just emotional. It was how we handled it emotionally. I think Gyökeres really really good again today. I mean, I kind of blame Atletico's defenders because they were horrible. If I'm being honest, they had dealt with them horribly. Um, but Gyökeres was really good. Declan Rice really good. Saliba, besides that one little error, really good. We had a few just stand up performances in terms of quality, and maybe it didn't lead to attacking fluidity as much as we would have hoped, but this was one of those games where right when we got that goal by Bukayo Saka right before halftime, it was just keep that clean sheet, grind this out. There's no need to, go score 4 or 5. There's no need to do all that. There's no need to open ourselves up. We know how we play. We know what we're good at. We know our strengths. And let's just stick with it. Let's stick with our guns. And our guns are, keeping that clean sheet, being defensive and being a unit. And man, that's what we were. And I think today, man, I mean, the main thing that for me emotionally as a fan that comes out of that is who better to have scored that goal for us in that Champions League final than Bakayo, right? I mean, you think about the only player in Arteta's first 11 that's still in the team is Bukayo Saka, right? You think about the probably the only few 2 or 3 players that are still in the squad, Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, right? Bukayo Saka through the trenches of 2019 finishing eighth, or 2020 finishing eighth, 2021 finishing eighth, 2022 finishing fifth, 2023 finishing second, 2024 finishing second, 2025 finishing second. Bukayo's always been there, carrying us on his back. I mean, you've probably seen it on Twitter and all over the place, but the posts of Bukayo saying you guys deserve more, right?
Mhm.
It's so fitting that the person that scores or sends us to the Champions League final. And yes, it's not a trophy yet, but it is a final, and any club, no matter who it is, maybe beside Real Madrid, celebrate going to a Champions League final. That's iconic. Um, there's no one more fitting to have scored it than him, right? Was it a good goal? Who cares? I don't care if it was a good goal as a tap in, but yeah, I think it's not really a game where I want to break down tactically or I'm thinking about from any other perspective besides purely emotional. Was it beautiful in the eye? No, but it didn't need to be. It was a win, and look, we've had a big 3 4 days. We're in the Champions League final, and now we're 4 points clear. I mean 5 points clear. Obviously, City still have a game in hand, but at worst they win that and they go 2 points behind us. And now our fate's in our hands. We win 4 games and we win this league and the Champions League. We win a double.
And yeah, it's pretty. if I put it one way, any win that you get kind of gets you over the line. People are gonna say how like whatever they want about how the game ended and like how it was only one goal and not the most important watch and talk everything they want to do. But like in the end of the day, you guys are in a Champions League final. You have a chance of winning it. And contrary to what a lot of people say, who say like whoever's coming out on this side is going to get battered by Bayern or PSG or like that type of thing, it's one game, and rarely do we see a Champions League final, be decided in such dominant fashion. You get what I mean?
Yeah, I think
I mean,
last
besides last
year's
season, even.
yeah, last season is
Yeah,
definitely
that was.
like an outlier. Usually it's very tight. Even, you look back at probably I feel like the biggest mismatch I can remember before last year's final was probably Dortmund and Real Madrid 23-24. Not that that was a
24, yeah.
a crazy mismatch. It was just probably same thing where you thought PSG should have made that final and it would probably been closer game then. But even that game, it was a really tight game and really Dortmund were probably the better team for the first half. They just couldn't finish their chances. Um so yeah, and I think the main difference here is like Arteta said, I guess company agreed with him. Enrique didn't really say anything about it, but or say anything relevant about it. Is the most important thing is kind of the fitness, and I'm kind of glad that Arteta's rotating a little bit. He's managing Saka really well. You can tell he's managing Rice. Obviously, he played the full 90 today, but subbed off at 60 against Fulham. He's managing Zubamendi, benched both games. I think, I think Fulham it was a rotation thing. I think today it was just rewarding the good performance against Fulham. I think it was in his plans for Zubi to start today until Fulham, and he said, you know what, let's just wing it. Let's go with what's working, and it worked out. If I'm being honest, I don't think it was Lewis Kelly's best game. Like I wouldn't start him against West Ham. Um, but the way he's managing us is it's clear that he's managing us for an eventual UCL final, and I think that's really important because when we're looking at the UCL final, whoever comes out of the other side will be mostly fit. They'll have most of their players in the best condition possible. Maybe Hakimi will be injured, but besides that, most of the players will be in the best condition possible. Whereas us, we've just come out of what could be a crazy or what is a crazy title race and very draining at that. So it's gonna be hard, man. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough UCL final. We're probably not favorites anyway. I think most people will say that the other team will win. But not only do they have the, what people would say is just the better team, they also have the fitness on their side. So it'll be tough, but I think as long as we have no more serious injuries and, Moreno should be back soon, hopefully Timber's back at some point this season. As long as we have, most of our team fit and back, I think we have every chance.
Yeah, especially if you consider the fact that like if you look at the individual leagues that Bayern and PSG both play in, Bayern already have Bundesliga in the bag, so they can fully rotate their 11. That's exactly what they did last game. If they make the finals, they're just gonna keep rotating until the last game. For League One, it is still pretty tight at the top, but Luis Enrique, he will find a way to make it work by either rotating a couple players. It's not going to be as a heavy rotation as let's say Bayern make it through, but his main eyes are still going to be on the big champs. So I agree. Even though you guys have you guys are still chasing a title, you guys, if City do win their game in hand, it's still only 2 point gap, and that's only considering the fact that you guys are going to go ahead and win the rest of your games. It's gonna, I'd say, come down to who's fit, who's not. I think that's going to be the main deciding factor of who's going to bring it home. I would say.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah. Anything else you guys want to talk about with the game?
About the champs or the game against Fulham?
Nah, the champs. We'll move on to Fulham after.
Champs? I don't
I mean, the
know.
game
I
was
think honestly, it wasn't that bad of a game as people kind of painted out to be. I think the first half, in the Arsenal point of view, was good. It just looked like Atletico weren't doing a lot, but that's also because of the defensive dominance that Arsenal had against them. So I think that's honestly what it came down to. And then obviously they get back the goal. You didn't need to do much more. If anyone could hold a 1-0 lead, you would say it's Arsenal. So it's kind of what they did, right? And it was
I was like,
definitely
who
enough to bring them over
cares?
the line. Exactly. It's like it was enough to
Yeah,
bring them over the line. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So, and if
yeah.
I'm be honest, I feel like for a non-scoring game, I think this is probably Gyökeres' best game where he didn't leave with the GA.
I mean, he should have
Okay, yeah,
And
scored. He should
Gyökeres.
have scored. He
he
should
Yeah,
have
should he
scored.
should have
he
scored.
should
Yeah,
have
he should have
scored,
scored.
but
He should have scored and made it 2-0. But even then, like I'd say that's the one chance that he missed. But otherwise, he was giving the defenders a tough time. I know they weren't really doing a good job of containing him, but still, I'd say for a game where he normally gets away with a goal or a weird assist, and then people say, oh, he got a goal or assist, but the performance was not there. I would say this time it was the complete opposite.
No, I
I would
would
say the
say
performance
yeah.
was
I
I would
agree.
say the performance was there, but he didn't leave with the GA, and ultimately he didn't need to. But because of his presence, I'd say was a big factor towards your win today.
I think his last 3 games, it is definitely his best 3 games or his best little run in an Arsenal shirt, and I think that's great. Coming from a POV where it's the most important part of the season. So yeah, this is the part of the season where I'd want to cash in on a purple patch if it is a purple patch. If I'm being honest, obviously you guys probably saw the reaction, so you guys know what I think about the guy. I guess at my worst. Um, I can't. If I'm being honest, I can't say I feel any different. I feel like he has shown that he's competent to some extent, but to me, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna flip flop on him. I think great run, and hopefully he keeps it up until the end of the season. We have 4 games left. Hopefully he keeps it on for four more games, and then sell him when the stocks are high, man. I think that's the way I look at him right now. I think I'm not gonna change my perspective. Like same with Zubi, right? Zubi had maybe a bad run of games or a bad 2 months or so, but that's not gonna change my perspective on the 6 or 7 months that came before that where he was amazing and probably people were looking at him as one of the best signings in of the summer, right? So in the same perspective, I think Gyökeres, he showed me what he's about for 6 or 7 months. I think, it's best he gives me 4 more games. Come on, just 4 more games at this same level where you're running the channels and, whether it's the defenders or it's you, whatever it is, whatever you want to attribute it to, um, just play to this level, 4 more games, and then, brother, you can sail off into the sunset. You can sail off as a UCL winner, a Prem winner in your first season with a number 14, and then go to I don't know, go to like I don't know, go to Benfica or something, or back to Sporting. I don't know, bro. Go to Bundesliga. I don't know. Do something, but just that's what I would do with them.
Yeah, man. I guess we'll jump into Fulham.
Yeah, I think Fulham is much more of Fulham's a game I think we can break it down more on a complete level. But honestly, I feel like a lot of what I would say about the Fulham game is something I've said all season, which is, the tactics aren't like, yes, it's slightly different to what it was earlier in the season. But if we're being honest, I think the biggest impact, and it's what Arteta says in his press conferences, is that our best players are fit, so we play better. That's really like I think that's the easiest way to attribute Fulham in that game. It's literally down to, beside Kai Havertz and besides Odegaard, in which both of them, mostly Odegaard, is you know uh, a tool used for specific circumstances. Um, but besides them two, we had basically our strongest 11 out there, damn near. I don't think Odegaard starts in our strongest 11. Kai does, and Timber would probably start in our strongest 11. Besides that, that was our strongest 11 out there, probably 7 or 8 players. Um, and you could tell because we looked so much better, and I think that's really what it just comes down to. But obviously, he's making little changes and stuff like that, little tweaks that really worked out, and we'll talk about one, I guess specifically. But I think you play your best players and you win games. That's just really what it is. And when we want to go into the specifics, I mean, you have Saliba and Calafiori, who is monumental, I guess, or of great importance to our little run where we were imperious, beat Bayern, didn't concede a shot on target for like a while, didn't concede for like 6 or 7 games in a row. I think that all comes with Calafiori and Saliba, Gabriel and Timber with Raya in goal, right? You need 2 build-up specialists, and then you need one that can, dribble and break through presses in Timber, and Gabriel, who's just a great box defender, right? And yeah, I think Fulham, that was the closest we got to that. White, he played an okay game, but the other four in the back line, including Rhea, were good, right? They did their job, and I think that's what happens when you have build-up specialists back in your back four. And I guess probably two or three main talking points is, or maybe four. I think Eze wasn't as good that game, but Trossard back to his, first half of the season form, which, surprise, surprise, that comes with Calafiori at left back, which is what it's been the whole first half of the season. First half of the season, Calafiori was fit the whole time, and Trossard looked like what he looked like against Fulham. Against Atletico Madrid, he wasn't as good, but it shows that partnerships matter, and Calafiori is very important to the left hand side. Um, Saka 45 minutes were probably the best 45 minutes we've seen in a while from him, but also from the team in general. And who's surprised? Great goal, great assist. I think the goal is special, but he's done that for a while. I think he has two trademark finishes. One is right foot top of the roof of the net, and then the second one is left foot near post. He's done that all the time. Robertson, or one where he drops Robertson and scores against Allison in that 3-1 Liverpool win. Um, and Neuer, Bayern Munich 2-2. Like, I could name so many examples of him doing that finish. And then the assist. That's magic, right? That's magic. That's what we like to see from him at his
He
best.
smashed ankles on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
it's
smashed
magic, right?
ankles.
It's magic, and
You gotta give him that.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think I guess the biggest surprise. Oh, and Gyökeres played really well that game too. Like I said, in the past 3 games he's been really good, and that includes Fulham in the middle. And I think the biggest surprise was MLS in midfield, right? I think he hasn't really gotten much game time, and especially in midfield. Unfortunately, the one time he was gonna get game time in midfield, Calafiori goes out with the injury in the FA Cup, and then because of that, we had to change, and MLS plays left back, and I forgot who, probably Norgard or something, came in midfield.
It
So
was no regard. Yeah.
yeah, so like, it's unfortunate. We've seen it multiple times in the cups. Arteta's tried to experiment with it, hasn't happened, or at least this year, not maybe not as much in 2025, but 2026 he has tried to experiment with it, hasn't really worked out. But I guess because it's probably Zubi's fitness, mixed with he wanted to give MLS a chance. He played really, really well. I think that was his best game for a while. He showed what he can do. He showed the type of attributes that people want to see in our midfield that sometimes Zubimendi doesn't bring. I think it's overrated, or I think it's people overhate Zubimendi because of the last 2 months, but I think Lewis Scully being something different in terms of turning on the ball and driving and being able to play penetrating passes, which I think Zubi can do the penetrating passes part as well, but the turning and drawing fouls and that type of stuff is really a Lewis Scully special. And it was great to see him in midfield. But if I'm being honest, in terms of overall concerns, I think there's still a concern with him in midfield, and I think we saw that today against Atletico. He was okay. Like, he wasn't amazing. He wasn't bad either. I think he was good. But you see it against Llorente today, where he tries to turn and he gets pocketed. He gets pickpocketed. I think obviously that's just one off, and that can happen to anyone. But I think my main concern with him is that he only has the way when he turns and draws those fouls, it's very, very close from whether it's a foul or whether it's the ball is just stolen from him. I feel like you saw it. I think you saw it last year. I can't remember who was against when he got a red card. He's final man. He turns on the ball, and it's like you can say it's a foul, but you can also say it's not a foul. And I think that's my main concern with him right now is this, as a midfielder at least, is that he has talent. You can tell this guy's a good profile, and this guy's a level A talent. It's just my one concern with him is when he tries to draw those fouls or when he does turn, it's so close between whether he's gonna get pickpocketed or whether it's a foul. Against Fulham, if you guys watch that game, I think a lot of things just went his way in terms of, he turned and he just drew the foul and it lined up perfectly. But you saw it once against Atletico. That time it doesn't end up being a foul. So for me, I think, great performance in midfield against Fulham, good performance against Atletico. But I think the one concern I have with him long term in our midfield is is can he make those 50-50s when it comes to the turning on the ball and moving? Can he make that more of a 70-30, a 80-20 in terms of, right now he plays too much on the edge when it comes to those little situations, and can he turn those into, you know, what the elite midfielders in the history of the sport have done, which is, usually it's either they escape or they get fouled, but I think overall great performance, and it put 3 GD it gave us 3 goal difference, and now we're 4 goal difference ahead of City. Obviously they have a game in hand where they could score 4 goals and just make it all up in one game, but it definitely gives us a big advantage, and it definitely might be a big say in the title race.
Yeah, one thing I kind of want to say about this is, bro, when people were like, yeah, like Fulham's gonna be a tough game, I don't think people have seen Fulham's away record. If you see them on the away table, they're like 17. They're like 16, 17. Their away record is bad. Like
Yeah.
they played bad against us. They played bad against Liverpool. They made Liverpool look really good. And I was thinking, this is not gonna be like I don't think this should be a challenge for Arsenal, even if they didn't have Saka. Obviously, with Saka, it made it so much easier for them, and especially helped them boost the goal difference. But ultimately, I didn't think that this was a game where they're going to drop points. I think this should have been, especially the Emirates. I think you guys had it in the bag ultimately. But with like with when I saw the lineup, I think obviously as a United fan, I was looking at MLS in midfield, and I think the stuff that you're saying with MLS in midfield, I agree. But I think that's just because of his lack of experience in midfield. I still think he has the quality there. I still think, he is a line breaker. He is a really good line breaker. And I think with more time, more experience, I think he will develop on that. And, especially with like the rumors speculating whether he's leaving or not, I think especially the clip after the end of the game, I don't think, you can kind of say those rumors are kind of in the bin now, but I guess that's just for up for now kind of thing.
I mean, I think with him, like, I mean, I guess this is like going to a different topic, I guess, because that's something that we'd have to talk about at the end of the season is like where the future of the team. But I think my main thing with him is that, this is an amazing talent, but in terms of a midfield profile, I'm not sure that there aren't better midfield profiles that are obtainable, right? You're thinking about specifically Buwadi, for example. Similar, but Buwadi's able to turn, like that turn that we're talking about. Buwadi's able to do it in
Yeah.
every direction, and he's able to do it consistently without it being on the edge, right? And so
Mhm.
I guess when we're just talking about MLS, for me, it's more so like this is an amazing player. Obviously, I want to keep him, but the only way I could see myself being okay with him going, first of all, is for a big fee, maybe, at least 50, 60 million. On top of that is if you combine it with, an S level talent coming in, right? Like I said, Lewis Scully, I think he's like a grade A talent. If you have a grade S talent coming in, like a Buwadi, for example, in that position, that a similar profile, um, then I think it's fair game. Obviously, the fans aren't gonna like it, but I think at that point it's fine. But I would prefer to not use the funds, like not. I would prefer not to do that. I think that um, I think there's other roles and other profiles that we could go for and keep him and prioritize, and that I think that would be if it comes up, it comes up, and we can get it done, we'll get it done. But I think that's something that we shouldn't really look to do as our main like one of our main pieces of transfer business. I think Nwaneri is a different story, and we'll see what happens with Nwaneri. I mean, that one I'm a little bit more concerned about, honestly, as a person that wants the Hale and boys to do good at Arsenal. I'm a little bit more concerned about him, but when it comes to Lewis Scully, I think there's definitely I think that Buati is the one profile that comes to my mind that could be better than him in terms of talent, but if you're not getting Buati, there's no reason to sell MLS and keep him. You know what I mean? That's my opinion on that whole transfer saga.
Yeah, fair. But like I said, I also do think it's a lack of experience that's kind of exposing his weaknesses a little bit. I think as time goes, I think he will heavily improve. But once again, yeah, I think that's definitely a discussion for the end. Who will know if we never know if he gets more minutes. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But
Anyways,
I think
pardon?
yeah, and honestly, besides that, I think like besides the big performance Saka, MLS and Victor Yokers, I thought a really underlying performance that might go under the radar was definitely Trossard, like you mentioned. I think if you compare Trossard over the last couple months, you can see that crazy. You can see like it just doesn't look like him, the Trossard that was starting in the beginning of the season. And I think this season, even if you look at today's goal, that's something that kind of stemmed from Trossard, right? I don't think that's something he would have done. We always see him cutting and shooting, but I think you could see the confidence in him coming back to him. I think that was the main thing. It looked like he was lacking confidence after a bit, but I think you could see that confidence rebuilding in him. So I think that was something I think that would have went under the radar a lot, just because of how Victor Jokeris, 3GA, Saka, amazing performance coming back, and MLS in midfield. I think those are the three main talking points, but I think this one is also something that's worth noticing as well.
You know what's another talking about that I completely forgot about that I guess we probably should mention is I think the fact that Saliba hasn't. First of all, Saliba's Fulham performance amazing, top notch, and you don't even realize how good he is now because it's just expected. But
It's low
insane,
just normalized now.
insane performance. Yeah, normalized, insane performance. But I know end of the season, so we're gonna be end up talking about the player of the season candidates at some point. And I think
Yes.
honestly, I'm probably of the opinion that Bruno should probably win it at this point. Especially he's nearing 20. If he gets 20, he should probably have it. But for me, I think my top three contenders are Saliba, Rice, and Bruno. I think Saliba this season, I know he's a center back and I know he doesn't score the goals, so he doesn't get the same clout as Gabriel, but this guy, defensively, progression, on the ball, everything, elite, amazing. I've never the one of the best center backs I've ever seen. I think I remember when we were in the trenches, I used to look at Van Dijk and be like, "Holy shit, you can't get past this guy." And I know for sure that other fans when they're watching us, if they're watching without bias tinted lens, they definitely look at Saliba that same way. And I think that's bro. He is one of those profiles that this is a generational player. Like I think every elite team probably has only one or two generational players, right? That's just how, like maybe three, right? Generational players. That's just how it works. You can't have seven generational players. Um, I think you look at Liverpool, they probably had maybe five, honestly, if we're being honest. You're talking about Allison, you're talking about Trent, you're talking about Van Dijk, you're talking about Salah, and you're probably talking about Mane, maybe four. For us, I think our three are, maybe Bakayo now might not end up being that because of his injuries, but Bakayo when he was fit, for sure. I think Declan Rice and I think William Saliba, man. Those three, insane. And I've always said that, but showed it again, man. And the fact that he's not up for those conversations and the fact that he doesn't get the prop that he deserves is unfortunate, man. I hope he just starts adding goals to his game in some sort of way because then people will start to give him the credit this guy actually deserves. This guy is a monster.
I personally think, and I've been thinking this for a time, that like Saliba's the better center back in that
Yeah,
partnership
no, I
between
think
him and
all of us were
Gabriel.
on the same page with that. Like, yeah.
Yeah. It's surprising because usually people will say
Yeah.
Gabriel, but no, I think us three have been like
And
I've
you know
been
what it is
always
too?
consistent. I've always
Yeah,
been
and you know what it is
consistent,
too?
but
It's also like with Saliba, it's a lot more IQ involved in the way that he defends. But with
Mm.
with
Mm.
Gabriel,
it's
he's
loud.
just a monster. He's a beast, right?
It's
He's loud,
loud.
exactly.
Yeah.
He makes himself vocal. Saliba's humble. He does it. He gets the job done and moves on. He's like, what's next? But
Like the thing that I would always say is like I always say two things. Firstly, I don't think Gabriel would ever be the player he is without Saliba. I think Saliba will be just as fine without Gabriel. And then the second thing I would say is like in these big games, if you ever see Arsenal like flop or fumble, the center back who's usually like at fault or like the one who's like flustered and gets in like his own skin is always Gabriel, the guy who's always cool headed, calmly going about his
he's just
business and
calm
putting
and
in
composed, right?
I mean, it's
dropping a
Yeah.
funny.
monster performance is always Saliba.
It's funny because yeah, like that's true, but then today it's just like today's probably the wrong day to say it because today Saliba
Yeah,
was the
because
one that
Saliba made the mistake and
yeah,
Gabriel saved
Saliba
him.
made the mistake and Gabriel
Yeah.
clutched up, but
Yeah, but
90, but yeah, you're right.
generally,
90% of the
yeah.
time,
Yeah, definitely 9
and
out of 9.5 out of 10 times, it's normally, Saliba's calm and Gabriel's the one who's more loud and
but
vocal and
also
like more emotional.
Yeah, and also you've seen in the title race, right, where like if you actually go watch our games when we were like on a down run of form and the pressure was getting to us, it was Gabriel hoofing the ball. It was Gabriel, make misplacing passes and that and the other. And I said it on the pod probably that Gabriel was trying to really worry me. Luckily, he's fixed up and he's locked in. But there was a run of games where Gabriel was going under the radar in terms of what he was doing. This guy was
Yeah,
misplacing
it was
passes, etc.,
suspicious.
etc. But that's behind us now. I think. I mean, we go to
Yeah.
West Ham, and it's funny because what you look at the first Atletico Madrid game was probably the biggest game of our season. Then you go to Fulham, probably the biggest game of our season. Then you go to today, probably the biggest game of our season, and
Bro,
now
when you're in a title race in cup tournaments,
and
that's
now
tough luck,
West
bro.
Ham away is the biggest game of our season. So, or probably not, but the biggest game of our Prem season. I think Atletico Madrid at home, semi-final, second leg, that will always be your biggest game of the season, even if you're in a title race. But this West Ham game, I mean, what do you guys think in terms of the narratives? 'Cause I've seen the narratives online. I've seen the narratives on Sky Sports and this type of stuff. But I want to see, what do you guys think about this West Ham game and the importance of it? I
Well,
guess.
well, firstly, I think your biggest game of the season now is the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that hasn't happened yet.
like,
Yeah.
like
No,
I would like to preface that right away. Your biggest game of the season is the Champions League final. But in terms of the importance of this game, like it is, if you stamp a win on this game, you're really starting to kill City's hopes, I would say. Now they're like they're down already because they dropped their game, and basically it's in your hands now. But if you want to really kick them when they're down, you get this win, and it's kind of pressure's really all on them.
for sure. But I think you know what I think the narrative makes it funnier is because now Spurs really need you guys to win. That's the funnier part because I forgot who Spurs are playing next, but
Leeds.
if West Ham they're playing Leeds
Mm-hmm.
away or home.
Yeah.
Can't remember. I can check.
Leeds is a
But keep
tough
going.
team.
Keep
They're
talking. Keep
good.
talking.
But
Mhm.
I think that's what makes the narrative funnier. It's because like if West Ham win, then they go above them again, and if Spurs drop points, that's bad. But at the same time, what they need their rivals to win,
Spurs play
and it's
Leeds
gonna
I
at
mean,
be a
like,
win
I
home.
mean,
that
I mean,
might
to be fair,
secure the
like,
league.
to be fair, who cares about Spurs right now? They're going to finish like bottom of the league this season. They're going to
Spurs.
fucking
Oh no,
No,
it's
it's
not even
like,
that.
more
I
of
just
just
think I just think that's what makes the narrative more
it's
funny.
more of it's more of the
Mhm.
narrative. That's why, like, yeah, I've seen the narrative of this game being the biggest game in the Prem in a long time. I think the reason for it is because yeah, Spurs play Leeds at home, which is funny because Spurs are probably worse at home. They're probably more uncomfortable at home.
No, dude,
I
they're on
know.
the weight table. They're so good.
I know they've only
I think they're
won
like
twice
fourth.
at home, I think, all season. So I think if they have 38 points, at least 25 of them come from away. So they probably gathered roughly 10 points, give or take, at home, right? So that game, I think they play after us, but that's besides the point. I think the importance of that game comes twofold. West Ham win that game, then you know that's a big blow for us, and it's back in City's hands. But on top of that, that's a big blow for Spurs. If we draw that game, that's a blow for us, but it's still technically in both of our hands. It just goes down to goal difference. And that's obviously still a blow to Spurs, but Spurs technically still have the advantage because they'll have a point ahead with a game in hand. And if we win, then that's basically West Ham relegated as long as Spurs win against Leeds, and that a lot of people are saying is our final hard game, and a lot of people are saying the a lot of people are pushing the narrative that if we beat West Ham, we'll win the league, right? I think with that narrative was what I was talking about with the question, and I think that narrative is probably my. I think we've said that maybe 15 times this season. Oh, if this team wins this game, they will win the league. Like I feel like I've heard that maybe 10 times. So I don't really care for it, honestly. Like we'll see what happens Saturday. I mean, Saturday City play Brentford at home, but that's not going to be a comfortable game, right? They just,
They just beat West Ham 3-0.
they Brentford have been really good. They're on an unbeaten run as well. Don't get it twisted. They're
No,
on
no,
a
no.
good run.
They're
They're on a.
not unbeaten run. We beat them 2 games ago.
Oh, did you? Okay. Well, they were on a good
Yeah.
run of form anyway. Maybe they were unbeaten until your game, but
Yeah.
they were. They're yeah.
They were.
Sorry,
They were.
but
Yeah, you're right.
right? So they've been okay. Besides one loss, I think they probably have 10 games before that, or maybe like 10 games uh around that where they've been unbeaten and been really good. They had that one loss, sure, but I think that Brentford game is going to be very, very uncomfortable. And then when you add on the fact that set pieces and the nerves and what you saw in the Everton game, which is kind of what I talked about in my match reaction, where you could see City's defenders nervous. Gehi mistake, Kusanov mistakes, Nunes mistakes, Donnarumma begging the referee whatever he was begging for, right? O'Reilly kind of was being a little weird. Nico Gonzalez wasn't that great, right? Kovacic, just came back and he was good
Kovacic is really,
offensively.
really good.
He was good offensively, but
Probably better than
defensively
Gonzalez.
he was suspect, right?
Yeah.
And I think all those things combined into that game is very nervy, right? And let's say they go and drop points there, which is, people 2 weeks ago or even a week ago, maybe even 3 days ago would have said no way that's gonna happen. Now, you think about it, Brentford are really tight for this Champions League spot, um, and could ease and want to win that game in terms of to get Europa League and maybe have an outside shot for Champions League. So it's not going to be an easy game. It's going to be a nervy game. It's going to be tight. And, you know, once you've had that type of bullet to your chest, it's going to impact you, right? We've seen it with us. Trust me, I've been there. I've seen it happen with our team. And bro, it could mean that West Ham game isn't that impactful for us. So we'll see what happens. But it is very interesting. I will be there. That City Brentford game. I definitely will be there, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully they drop points because that means that we can, if we win our games, we can win the title at the Emirates. But we'll see, man. I mean, I guess we should move on now. Harshan's looking depressed.
Yeah,
So
interesting stuff.
Yep.
Harshan's tired of talking about us. So
Why would you need the press, bro?
this guy's tired.
While we
So
could.
we
Well,
might
we'll
as well
cover it
move
at the
on
end.
to United Liverpool. Big
Yeah.
game, big derby,
Big game.
3-2.
3-2, bro. Honestly, I said it in my match reaction, bro. The amount of times we look like we're in a good position, it looks like a game we're cruising through. We will do something to make it harder on ourselves. I think we've seen it so many times. That's just United fashion at this point. And I was saying, and I'm like, bro, now that we made Champions League, this is not something you can afford to do in Champions League. So this is something we got to fix up. But if we're talking about on the topic of the game itself, first half, once again, it was an amazing first half. Like, I think that's probably one of the. It genuinely was looking like a City game again, based off the first half. We got so many chances. We're playing so well. The way we're even pressing. It was like I've never seen us press like that. And normally after we score a goal, like, and you know what's funny? Like right before that set piece was taken, I'm like, yo, at this point in the game at Anfield, we were already up 1-0. And then that's when Cunha scores, and I'm like, what the heck? What's going on? I didn't expect us to score this early. And I know, like, I've been watching Liverpool, and yes, they had Isak out for that game, right? And the day before, he was rumored. They were like, oh, some sources were saying that he's injured, some were saying that he's fit. I don't know what kind of rubbish they're on. But once I saw that he wasn't in that lineup, bro, Isak is out. Hugo Ekitike, the next best goal scorer after Szoboszlai, or next best reliable player, I'd say, apart from Szoboszlai that season, he's out. And a player that's been our Achilles heel for years, Mohamed Salah, he's also out. So I'm like, it went from being like a okay, this is looking like it might be closer than everyone thinks to this needs to be like a dominant win, and that's honestly what it was looking like. Like by the 15th minute, we're already up 2-0, and it was a controversial goal. It was like I don't know if you guys saw what was going on with the goal, but I'm thinking and I'm like, dude, honestly, I think it's better for them to allow the goal because I don't know if you guys remember with City Liverpool, but the last goal, it was controversial. Like Szoboszlai pulled Holland, and they disallowed the goal. And then what they did was they red carded Szoboszlai.
Mhm.
Curtis Jones was tugging on Sesko right before the ball passed both of them. So I think if that goal was disallowed, they would have reviewed how he fell in the first place. And then that's a potential red card. Goal denying a clear goal scoring opportunity, and then they're down to 10 men. In my opinion, I think with them having this goal allowed, I think it helps them a little bit more, especially considering the fact that in the second half we started choking, we started making mistakes, and we let them back into the game. So if they were in that position with 10 men, I don't think they would have gotten as close as they did. So in my opinion, I think the second goal standing probably a better outcome for them as well instead of having Curtis Jones sent off. But yeah, at that point, like I'm thinking, bro, this might be our time to get revenge. Like for past results, 7-0 at Anfield, 5-0 at Old Trafford. Maybe we can do the same thing to them. That's what you're clearly thinking. And to end the half with only 2-0, I would say it was they were lucky that it was 2-0. Because if we're able to finish our chances, and if you like capitalize in a lot of moments, then it would have been like a way better game. And I don't know what their game plan was. Like throughout the entire game, you can see Robertson and Curtis Jones. They're committing way too far up the pitch. They're fullbacks, and
Yeah.
when you keep losing the ball in midfield against a team that's crazy on the counter, like what do you expect, right? That's why I'm thinking, yo, this has to be like 4-0, 5-0 by the end of first half because we had so many chances. And near the end of the first half, that's when we kind of started sitting back, letting them keep possession, but they just weren't doing anything. Like they left the half with 0.15 xG. So
Jesus.
you can see how well we had them contained. And then comes the second half. I don't know why Sesko was taken off. I believe it's because there's a moment in the game where Kanade kind of bodied Sesko into the stands, and it looked like it was a crazy fall, and he kind of went sliding downhill. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. But yeah, I think that's why he came on, and then Ama came off. And bro, the way he lost possession honestly wasn't even the worst part. It was who he gave the ball to. That's what annoyed me so much more. It wasn't how he lost possession. It was he gave it straight to Szoboszlai. And honestly, fair play to him, bro. Like for United fans to say that we gifted them that goal, I think that's a little too harsh. There's still he still have to dribble the ball half the pitch, and he took that goal on himself, bro. He looked, you know that meme where it's like I look to my left, Deji, I look to my right, AJ. These partners think of piss. That's exactly the moment he had. He looked to his left, no one there. He looked to his right, he had words, and he's like, nah, shit, I'm taking this on myself. And that's
That's
exactly what he did,
hilarious.
bro. That's exactly what he did.
I
Like,
mean,
I can't believe no one.
can I
Yeah,
can I
go on.
just like I haven't wanted to interject because I like what you're talking about. But I wanted to interject on just one thing. After you guys beat us 3-2 with Emirates, first Emirates
I
loss.
know it's gonna
Wait,
be
wait,
that.
let's
I
just
know it's gonna
relax.
be
Let's
that.
just relax. Let's just relax. Let me finish. Let me land. After you beat us 3-2 at the Emirates, I remember going on Twitter and I remember seeing, Ahmed interact with some of our fans and telling us to be humble and that we pray for corners. And so I was just going to ask, how much GA has that guy provided since that game? How has he performed since that game? How has he been since
Honestly,
that game?
even up till that game, he only had 2 goals. So there's not much you can even talk about in the season. But his performances have been there. But I think even going beyond that, I
Can I
think
ask you
the
something?
next game against Fulham, he did well. It was since Spurs he's been dropping off.
Can I ask you something?
And
Does he
yeah,
have
well,
more GA in the Prem than Mr. 49 Alejandro Garnacho?
Oh, subject 49? I don't think so.
I actually don't know. I know.
Hold on,
I
I'm
think
an NBA
Garnacho has
artist.
two.
By the way, by the way,
I think he
by the
has
way, let's
two
remember
goals, right?
that
I don't know
Amad
GA.
Diallo cost United as much as Garnacho cost Chelsea. You guys probably don't
Okay,
remember, but
let's see.
it was a 35,
No,
40
I
mil
don't think so.
signing.
No, that's not true.
No,
He didn't cost for that game.
bro,
He might have, but dude, there's not. If you look at the
Okay.
number of bad moments that Garnacho's had throughout his entire Chelsea
no, I'm
career
talking about
versus
money. I'm talking about money
Ahmad
wise.
this season,
I'm talking about
oh,
money
money
wise.
wise,
Ooh. Ooh.
I don't remember
Ooh.
too well.
It was a while ago,
Garnacho
but
has
it
5
was.
GA
Uh
and
oh.
Ahmad has 4.
Yeah,
And
so Ahmad's
Oh, that's
transfer
pretty
fee was
close.
37 million. Garnacho's was like
Garnacho's
45.
played less games.
Oh my god.
No, dude. Even in the beginning, Ahmad was not getting goals or assists. I think his first. I still. It's funny because I still remember all his goals, and it's because he only scored 2 times. But
Being
even then, he
worse
wasn't.
than subject 49 as well, dude.
No, but okay, but it's not that. Context matters, right? We didn't need the same Ahmad that he provided us with last season. Because if you look at last season, everyone's gonna say the savior was Bruno, but after Bruno, it was Ahmad, and he had to clutch up, and he did the job. But this season, like I've been saying with Bruno, he doesn't need goals because we have so many goal scorers now. We literally have Cesco who's on 11 goals. We have Buemo and Cunha who are both on 9 goals. He doesn't need to be that guy anymore. The next goal scorer after that is Mason Mount, and I think he has 3 goals. So if you look at it, our goals have all been coming from our signings. So like even then, like it's not a big for me. It's not like a oh sorry. Bruno has 8 goals, but he has 4 penalty goals. So besides that, if you look at non-penalty goals, he only has 4. So
Huh.
like I said, with Ahmad, like it's not like a to be scoring. He doesn't need to assisting like that. For me, it's just his performance is not there. He's like over his head too much now. And the
Mm.
last video, like I said it, I was like, you know what, like he's lucky in the sense that he doesn't need to be good right now because he's not letting us down too much. Like for example, even in the game against Brentford, he's the reason why the second goal was produced. So he's still giving us moments. It's just that he's not doing the same Ahmad stuff that he was doing last season. And I agree, his form has massively dipped.
I
It has
mean,
massively dipped, and even with the Mbeumo as well, right? But I think it's the fact that he made that comment and then people are starting to watch him a little closer. I think that's what's looking more unfortunate because
I've heard him go from Ad Messi, the Ivorian Messi, to Ad Medweke, the Ivorian Madueke. So that's definitely a fall from grace. I'll tell you that for sure. Um,
yeah, I mean
in terms of
he
nicknames,
bro, he just had a wonder season last season and then the season he's
a
fallen off.
wonder
But I guess
season is a little crazy. He had a solid season.
he had a good
Solid
season.
season.
A
No, no, I'm
wonder
saying
season in
if you look no, hold
15th.
on.
Relax. Let's calm
That's
down.
what I'm saying. In the context of saying 15th, he had a good season. You
Uh,
can't for a team that
sure.
finished 15th, you can't say anyone had a good season. So
Exactly.
for him, I'd say yeah. In that context, he had a winter season. But this season, like I've been saying in all like my match reactions, he doesn't need to be the one to put the ball in the back of the net. Even then, he still scored. He still scored. I think 2 goals. It's just unlucky that both of them are pretty like slightly offside. So it's not like he's doing incredibly bad. Like for example, the game against Brentford, like the Kobe Menu, he could have got one of the best assists of the season, but Ahmad missed. It's stuff like that it's like it's frustrating to watch, right? Because we know Ahmad can do it. Obviously, it's his weak foot. To a point, you understand, but you still have the whole net to shoot at. So once again, it's one of those things where I think I would just say he's lucky that other players right now are stepping up like crazy. So he doesn't need to be that that player that we need to turn to and be like, yo, we need your help. But at the same time, I think the Liverpool is a massive alarm that, you know, he can start to cost us some games. So it was a little bit of a wake up call, but I think more than the Ahmed mistake, I was more worried about the Lamin's mistake because I'm telling you right now, as soon as he gave the ball away to McAllister, I saw a goalkeeper from Cameroon in that. You guys have no idea how much we've been through the trenches with these goalkeepers, but I no longer saw Lamins, bro. I saw Onana in net. And with that mistake, I wasn't worried about the fact that he made a mistake. I was more so worried about the fact that how it was going to be portrayed. Because if you think about a goalkeeper making any mistake, it's going to be if you're thinking about any team that's going to be like, oh, a goalkeeper made a mistake and it cost us the game. Well, you're going to look at United, bro. Especially over recent years, right? So I was worried that the media is going to make it a thing where it's like, oh my god, the goalkeeper, United's goalkeeper just costed them, dropping points, right? And I also didn't want that to affect his performance because the way he plays the ball, the way his calmness on the ball, the way he dictates the box, that's another reason why we win games. So I just didn't want that to kind of affect his performance, but I'm happy that it didn't because literally moments later he followed up with a crucial save. So I'm happy that obviously you don't want to see your goalkeeper making mistakes, and it happens to a lot of goalkeepers. Once in a while they make a mistake. He's made mistakes before, but 30 Prem games in, taking he started what I think the fifth or sixth game week. This is the first time his mistake has costed us a goal. There's been times where we're like, yo, he could have done better. He could have, been a little bit more aware, or he could have claimed the cross better, whatever. But I'd say this is the first time a direct mistake of his. So in my opinion, it still doesn't change the way I kind of feel about him. It doesn't change. I'm not gonna, the phrase everyone's been saying is safe hands when you talk about Sonny Lemons, but to me, he's still safe hands. I still wouldn't be like, yo, still not gonna feel like anxious when I see him having the ball. I'm still gonna feel confident. It's still calm and composed. I think that's what matters the most.
Yeah,
So for
yeah,
me,
yeah.
You know,
Every elite goalie makes mistakes. I wouldn't call them elite, but I'm
we
just saying
literally we
like
literally saw Donnarumma. Yeah. What?
Donnarumma, Raya, like it doesn't matter. Every Ederson, Allison in their peaks, Neuer in his peak. It doesn't matter. Every goalie, obviously, this guy Lemons is nowhere near any of those guys. But that's besides the point. The point
I
is
think
that
that's important to.
any
Yeah.
elite goalie and will make mistakes. So Lemons has done well to only make really, I guess, if you're saying like direct mistakes, he's done well to only make one. I think definitely he could have done better a few times, like you said, and I definitely think, you know, I think for you guys, it's the I guess the main reason why he's highlighted so much is because you guys went from no water to wine, and obviously that that makes it so that even that wine, even if it's $20 wine, that wine feels like $1,000 wine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
100.
I think that he's a good goalie and he's young too, so this guy has potential, and
Exactly. Like.
he definitely has a ways to go, but there's no one can really hate on him or say that he's not someone that can at least be a good keeper for a Champions League team. Can he be your starting goalie for a Prem winning team? I don't know. He's really young, so probably not right now, but definitely he's started his career, Man U career well, and it's bro, it happens. One mistake, it is what it is, and luckily you guys still got the dub, so it's not that deep at the end of the day.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like, bro, that's another thing. He still has so much to learn, and bro, like, the funny part was that I think after the Brentford game, like we saw compilations and compilations on top where it's like if you see the average goal that he concedes, they're all flipping bangers. So I think it's very ironic to like I was also thinking that at some point like after like Brentford scored, I was like, bro, that's a banger. Like you gotta respect that, right? And then after that is when I start seeing compilations of all most of the majority of the goals he's been conceding and all of them just being bangers like near the edge of the box. There's that two spots of the box that like if he just shoots, that shit's going in. So I think it's just ironic to think that these compilations were coming out and then all of a sudden he does that. So a little bit of irony and whatnot, but after that, like bro, me and Chris were talking. I told you like I was just more annoyed at the fact that we just threw away a two-goal lead, and we could have made this. This was an opportunity for us to take revenge on what they've been doing for past years, right? I was more annoyed that we threw that chance away. I knew that we were either going to draw the game here. This is going to be the last goal that was scored, or we're going to score winners, or we're going to score even more than that. And bro, what better player do you want to flip and score a winner against Liverpool at Old Trafford at the Stretford end than the young man himself who just signed a 5-year contract? Bro, I think for the plot armor,
For the
I
plot
think I'll
armor.
take it. For the
It's for the
plot armor,
plot,
I
man.
think
For
I'll
the
take
plot. For the plot. There's no armor
for the
there.
plot. Same, yeah. Uh, it was building up to him, right? And
Yeah.
the fact that he just signed a contract and bro, what I find so funny, like leading, I think up till the Leeds game, when Kobe was first reintroduced back into the squad, there were still some fans that saying, "Yo, like, what is he really bringing into? What is he really bringing into the team? What is he really adding here?" I think that Leeds game, the way our midfield was so disastrous because one, Kobe was absent, and for two, we had a virus in our midfield. I think that kind of says it all why he's so
Virus? Do you
important.
mean like a Garte or do you mean like a literal sickness?
No, 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 Rigarte.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Fair, fair.
I think that's pretty obvious. But yeah, like I think that's like it's so like it's a massive green light to think that he's going to be a main part of our midfield and he's so important. And for him to finally get that goal against the winning goal against Liverpool, and it's the way he kind of orchestrated the goal as well. The ball wasn't even a perfect ball bouncing towards him, but even the technical ability he has, even without that goal, I would still say he was the man of the match. So for him to get that moment, for him to be the reason at the final point to get ourselves at the Champions League, I think it was written in the stars for him. Obviously, the only thing you can come out of this game saying that this is a bad thing, besides the two bottling a 2-0 lead, is the fact that Bruno didn't get his assist. But I'm not saying like the second assist he got robbed or whatever. I don't think that was an assist, and I don't want that kind of assist to be his 20th. But you know, this was moments for us to get his assists up, and We couldn't take it. So I guess that's another bad thing you can say we walked out of. And oh my god, for the love of God, if there's one player I want, if this one player is gonna stay, there's something I need him to work on, bro. If you guys saw Diogo Dalot's miss, well, I don't know if you guys saw it. He was 1-on-1 with the net, and I think I can name about 5 or 6 times that the same situation has occurred where he will find himself in amazing goal scoring spots. Like it's genuinely amazing. It's actually impressive how he finds himself in those positions. He will manage to find a way to put the ball over the net. Not even on target, he will put it over the net. He could have easily made it 4-2 there and he missed. So please, for the love of God, I need this guy to finish his practicing if he's gonna still stay with us next season. Honestly, start off with just hitting the ball on target, and then you can worry about placing the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah, but at least he's getting the chances.
But no, and honestly, like I am saying this, but ultimately under Kerry, he has been a lot better. I think like since the City game, there was that controversial, oh, should he have got a red, should he have not? I think, up until that moment, he was playing like booty, but after that moment, he was doing good. And the 2 games that we lost, Leeds and Newcastle under Michael Carrick, both of those games he didn't start. And we've been doing pretty solid against the game where he starts. So, I think he is becoming not an important part, but you can see the difference when he's not there. But it's just, I think it's more so to do with the fact that what the other whoever's replacing him, it's the way they play. Like Mazraoui, he doesn't provide the same utility as Dalot does. It's just Dalot can get himself into these amazing positions, but his final pass, his final shot, that's what just needs to improve. So once this guy improves that, he can be a good starting right back, starting for us next season. So yeah, and finally there. So, all right, Sean, I'll be waiting on those $50 soon.
I own like $100, don't I?
Yo, I can't believe, bro.
Oh my God, yeah. If
Yeah.
things slightly don't go your way, it could be $100. 50 for me, 50 for Ashwin.
Fine, it's fine.
Shoot,
Look,
no,
for
don't worry, don't worry.
I
I'm
should have done
using
another.
I'll have another $50 if everything goes as planned in my life. I'll have another $50 coming in, and I'll invest that into something that you guys will definitely see. But anyway. Whoops. Anyway, I was saying we might as well. Well, what's your next game? United.
Our next game
mean,
is
I guess-
Sunderland. Sunderland.
I guess there's
Sunderland.
no point in really previewing your game like that. It's really no relevance. You guys made UCL.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, it's not relevant. We already made UCL, but honestly now my bare minimum is we finish above Liverpool. That's all I care about.
I think you guys
Kerr got the
will.
job done. I
How
think
many points is it? 6 points?
6 point gap.
Oh, you
So
guys will
if
be
we lose,
fine.
if we win
Yeah,
one
yeah,
more game out of
sure.
the 3, we're fine.
Yeah,
Right?
you'll be
And the
fine.
thing is, obviously we still have the Bruno assist to look forward to. So
Oh.
those are the 2 things. Season done. So
Yeah, man.
whether Kerr gets the job or not,
We'll
we've
talk
seen
about
a
that.
lot
We'll
of
talk
stuff.
about that end of the
Yeah,
season.
Yeah.
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that at the end of the season. But
Yeah, I think that's
his
that's
stuff's been
end of the
interesting
season
since he
review.
has. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's
So-
move on, man. Let's move on
Let's move
because
on to-
I've been
I think I've been looking forward to this part the most.
I mean, for me, it's the
Honestly-
second most. But wait,
honestly-
Harsha,
honestly-
let me introduce the topic first because they don't even know what we're talking
Okay.
about. It's been
Okay.
almost an hour, 59 minutes, 58 minutes and 41 seconds. Harshan was ticking down the time, just hoping that this guy would get as minimal time as possible to talk about the beautiful club that is Chelsea. The pride of London. And the biggest team in London, the pride of London. London is blue, etc., etc. And we're seeing this great and mighty team, European heritage, in 10th, losing 3-0. Was it at home? At home, I believe. At home to
3-1.
So 3-1. Sorry, I forgot about João
No,
Pedro.
it was 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, 3-1. I mean, you guys have lost 3-0 so many times recently that I can't even remember who it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I
fair,
can't
fair.
That's
remember.
crazy. Yeah, I think you guys are really
3-0
that scoreline.
3-0 to Everton. 3-0 to City. 3-0 to I forgot who it was, someone else.
Right,
But 3-0 to Brighton. Like this is
PSG.
you guys just concede 3, bro. Brother, PSG that was like 8. But anyway, Come on, man. Talk us through the game. I don't even remember who you guys lost to anymore. I can't remember it. Oh, Forest.
No, no, no,
A
not even
rotated
Forest.
Forest
Forest.
side. A
Not even
rotated
Forest
Forest side.
B/C team, bro.
A rotated Forest side with no Anderson, no Morgan Gibbs White.
Stuff.
I don't. They had a few others that were missing that I can't remember off the top of my head. You didn't even watch the game, so I don't even know if you can really give an opinion. But I'll just assume that you have an opinion to give about this game. So, come on, man. Go and break it down. Break down the mighty Chelsea.
The one thing I'll preface with is we're very consistent now. We are consistently getting the same results. You know, the same topics are being discussed. At least there's some normalcy at the club now, although it's not the normalcy that we want.
6
The one
losses
thing-
in a row
the-
in the Prem, first
Yeah,
time
6
ever.
losses in a row. Before I get unserious, the one thing I do want to say is, prayers for Jesse Derry. Took like a huge blow
Oh,
in the first
Yeah.
half.
Jesse
Yeah,
Terry, Morgan Gibbs White.
Morgan Gibbs White. Do you
Robert
see his
Sanchez.
stitches?
Robert
Robert Sanchez got away
Yeah.
lucky, but Morgan Gibbs White
Yeah.
is
I didn't
fucked.
think it was that bad.
It was like
if you
this,
see screenshots
bro.
of the thing, you can see
Yeah.
White. I don't know if it's like
I
some
think
part of
it's-
his underlying part of his skin. It's not a skull, obviously. But
I don't
like,
think it's a skull. Yeah, I didn't see him that deep, but
definitely
it
not
was
a skull,
definitely
but-
it was definitely like it could have been skin. Yeah, I think it was underlying layer.
no,
of
but
skin.
it looked like Robert
Fuck.
Sanchez is the one who got more like.
No, he got lucky. He
But
got
he-
lucky.
he
He only
came
has a
off-
little
came
bit of
off better.
stitches. He has
No,
a little
no,
bit of
no, no,
stitches.
that's what I'm saying.
Morgan
If you
Gibbs
look
White
at-
is
if you look at
fucking
the-
down his face, bro.
Dude, it's like look his cold scar. I can't lie, but
Yeah, no,
No,
it
I'm
might
saying- I'm
end
saying-
up tough. It might end up tough. He might end up like
it might end up.
he might end up like an
No,
anime character, bro. Dead ass. Like it might actually be tough.
No, I'm saying if you actually saw the collision, it looked like Sanchez got it worse. But coming out of
Yeah.
it, like
It's
bro, I think he
crazy.
got
This
lucky
game
there.
had three of those. Three
Two-
of those
two-
crazy
two head
collisions.
two of
No,
those
it was
collisions.
three. It was three.
two.
No, it was three.
Three?
It was three. It's just the third one wasn't that deep. It was the other two that were deep, I think. Maybe I'm
Yeah.
wrong, but I'm pretty sure there was three.
And like,
I mean, Justin Darius was like, yo, that they took 10 minutes. He got unconscious for a bit. He was
no,
unconscious.
he got knocked out. He got literally knocked out.
He got knocked out. Yeah,
So,
he got knocked out. So that was
is he
bad.
good?
I think
Is there
it was
any
just the-
is there any news on it?
Like yeah, he's good now. He's good now. Like talking, he went over to the hospital. And apparently he was talking like that, not like whatnot too. And then he posted on Instagram later saying like he's happy for a debut and like thanks for the hospital and like whatnot. Like afterwards, I think he's good, but like definitely fucking serious concussion for a while. But
And he was playing well. Like he wasn't.
He was playing
wasn't-
well,
I mean,
too, yeah.
he wasn't
He's the best
anything.
player
He
on the
wasn't
field for you
anything. Yeah, he wasn't
Yeah.
anything spectacular, but definitely better than Garnacho. So.
Yeah.
And probably
I would
better than
say-
Diallo
I would
too.
honestly say, I wouldn't even say like not even comparing the subject 49 or anything like that. I would just say like he was generally the only player on the pitch who showed fight.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, I agree.
I would say
um,
Enzo was pretty good too. To be fair, Enzo was like
Enzo did have that one chance.
Enzo was probably outside of like out of the starting 11. It was probably besides Derry, it's probably Enzo that looked like he was actually ready for the game.
I think there's a couple players to talk about, but I mean, honestly,
Oh,
you should,
wait,
you
but
should
you know
tell us-
what? You know what? Honestly, Harshan, do you have any? You know what? I kind of wanna mention something now that you're talking about players. Sorry, Harshan, I hold you, but it is what it is. I remember a take that was pretty common amongst Chelsea fans. I wish I could pull up the clip and have it on my phone. That this Chelsea team, when fit, in terms of the midfield, when fit, Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo, is up there with one of the best midfields in world football. And this was after PSG won the Champions League. This was after the Club World Cup. And so I'm just curious, like, where do we
This
rank?
is actually a take. I've never seen this. before.
This was a Matisse take.
no, it was a take.
It was a Matisse take, and it was very popular amongst Chelsea fans that when their midfield is fit, which is what they were saying was, oh, Lavia is never fit, so it never happens. But when they are fit, in terms of those three, that is one of the best midfields, if not the best midfield in world football. I want to ask you now, where does that midfield rank in the world?
Let's rank what's above it. So PSG, obviously, Bayern, obviously, Arsenal, obviously, Man United, obviously, Liverpool, obviously, Barcelona,
United on
obviously,
form.
Real Madrid, obviously. What?
So Man United on form, Liverpool on form, I would actually say it's 50-50.
Yeah, United. No. Madrid obviously.
No, our
Atleti
midfield's been
obviously.
fine recently since Kobe, but yeah.
That's what I'm saying, on
I mean,
form. That's what I said. With
yeah,
United,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
on form. With
Yeah.
Liverpool,
Yeah.
it's names.
Uh, who else can we say here?
Uh,
Uh,
I would say Sunderland's,
City, obviously. Sunderland, obviously.
Newcastle.
Brentford, obviously. Newcastle, obviously. Nottingham, obviously. Um, Brighton, obviously. Even though we robbed half their players, but Brighton's got a better midfield than us.
Everton,
Everton. Yeah, I agree. Everton.
Aston
Ring
Villa
me.
when
Yeah,
fit.
Aston Villa. Yeah, when fit. Yeah, I agree with that.
Would it be a crazy shout to say
Coventry?
Spurs?
Honestly, I don't even care about that. Like, Spurs can have it too. Fuck it, I don't care.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm genuinely speaking, I'm not
Okay,
gonna
that's
lie.
that's like
I think
sarcastic,
actually
but yeah.
excited for the Chelsea v Spurs game to come up. I actually like.
That
I
is
don't
gonna be
before
cinema.
it's actually gonna
It's
be
trash
so
versus
funny
trash,
to
man.
watch.
Like,
But De
it's
Zerbi has
trash
got
versus
Spurs
trash.
playing. I genuinely think you guys might lose that game.
I wouldn't be
Me?
surprised.
On form right now, Spurs are better than you guys.
Yeah, literally, and
That's
I
a
don't
crazy,
even know
that's
how
a crazy
that's
statement to make.
how is that
Yeah.
possible? Like, how can Spurs be better than
No,
a team on
wait,
form?
hold on. I was gonna say something. I said I was gonna mention later. I might as well mention it right now if we're talking about form.
Yeah.
So basically, Ruben Amorim's worst run was close to the end of December 24. And this was the run. Let me find it really quickly. Okay, so December 22nd, played Bournemouth at home, 3-0, lost 3-0. Game a couple days later, we played Wolves, lost 2-0, and then another 4 days later, we lost to Newcastle 2-0. Then after that, we played Liverpool at Anfield, we drew 2-2, and then we beat Southampton 3-1. That was our worst form under Ruben Amorim
And
that
even
entire
worse than
season.
that.
You guys have double the losses that he had, his form of run, and also scored goalless for 3 games. You guys made goalless for 6 games. 5
Honestly,
games.
just delete the club. Delete the fucking club.
But
You know
I
how
thought-
crazy that is? Like I feel like that has gone like I know everyone's saying, oh my god, Chelsea have gone goalless for like 6 games, 5 games, but I don't think people realize how bad that is.
You know what? Let's just dissect. Let's dissect what's actually happened with this club, right? Because, I feel like in the game, and it was the same as the past 5 games, as in it was a disaster.
Mhm.
Goal after goal in disastrous fashion. Said
Is it
before.
from you also cutting out for you?
Yeah, you're cutting out, man.
Am I
Yeah,
cutting
You're
out?
cutting out a bit. Yeah.
Is it the
I think you're
Wi-Fi?
fine now.
Am I good again?
Yeah, you're good. No, it was your mic.
Oh, is my mic? Okay, it must have been this. Okay. Where was I? What did you guys hear and what did you guys not hear?
Loki,
heard
I
like
think
you're good.
I think you have to restart.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to restart.
What I was saying was is that I think there's no point in dissecting the specific game because I think the whole game
That's
was
like the issue.
there's no point in dissecting the game because the game has been the same as the past 6 games or 5 games where goals conceding left, right, and center all in disastrous fashion. I mean, I don't know if there's a point in talking about the specific game more so than just
No.
I
this
think
run
there
of
is
form.
one point we have to talk about, but we can talk about that at the end.
Sure. I think the main thing I'm concerned about is, a lot of times, like if you look at Spurs, for example, let's take Spurs, right? We've clowned Spurs a little bit. You look at their run of form in the past 24 months, and you say, you know what, this is horrible, and this has shown that a lot of their players have weak mentalities, etc., etc. Their club is finished, but on top of that, that's coinciding with what might be the worst, like the worst hit I've ever seen a team in terms of injuries. Right? Their injuries the past 24 months have been insane. The fact that I don't know how many.
They have more ACL injuries than home wins.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that shows on the club as well, but also their injuries, right? Like, I don't know how many players in the past 24 months have actually been injury free, or haven't had a significant injury. It feels like almost every player that they have that would normally start for them has had a significant injury. So yes, obviously Spurs should not be in the relegation zone no matter how many injuries they have. but you can contextualize their poor runs of form generally with lots of injuries, right? It's just you can't make that excuse for such a big club that spent so much money. But with Chelsea, I'm looking at this 6 games streak of not winning, and who is really missing? I mean, you think Reece James is missing. You think, I mean, maybe Estevao, but this is an 18-year-old. No, surely your season doesn't rely on him. Um, is that
João
really
Pedro
it?
was
Like in
injured
terms
for
of
a
in
bit,
terms of your
but like not
starters
really.
that were starting earlier on in the season when you guys were in a title race, according to some of your fans, and demanding a title race when you guys were 6 points off us or 3 points off us, and we played you guys at the bridge when it was a famous 1-1 win for you guys. Um, I'm just curious, like this isn't an injury issue, so like, am I wrong? Like, how many players are you guys missing from then to now? Estevao, Reece
Like
James
it's
is.
not it's not it's not an injury issue. It's just like literally it's player motivation, but I wouldn't even pin that on the players too because the club is just run like shit. You get what I mean?
Yes, but you think
The
that
club is
like
ran like shit, but yo, if you think about it, right? If you compare your game against Brighton, Liam Senior's last game, you can show that there was genuinely like it felt like watching Spurs in the sense that like it felt hopeless. It genuinely felt like punishment for them to be there. They're getting paid so much, but it looks like they're willing to give up their pay to not be there. That's
I
how they were
mean,
playing. But
yeah.
if you look at the game in the FA Cup, it was only 1-0, but I'd say you guys played way better. So it looked like, and then after that rumors start coming out about like certain players were calling Liam Senior a PT teacher, or PE teacher, stuff like that. It looked like at that point they're just playing depending on how much they like the manager. Even Senior after that game, they're saying players have to hold accountability. This is Chelsea, and these are extremely low standards. He starts saying stuff like that, and ultimately, I think in that press conference, like with Maresca's press conference that got him sacked, it was more about the owners, how they're not signing with them. But with this press conference, he didn't target the owners that much. He more so was going off on the players for not having like a fighting mentality, and ultimately that's also what got him sacked, right? So I think it's fair to say that it as far as it goes, if you look at the root cause of the problem, yes, you're looking at the board. But how long until you start looking at the players and
I
saying
mean, the
that yo,
players
they're
are to blame
choosing?
too. Like, of
Yeah,
course, the players
100%.
are to blame,
Yeah.
but like the one thing you like look at too is like if the board chose to be, smarter with their signings, we wouldn't be in the situation where we have players leaking lineups and players, not connecting to the squad, like that type of thing. Like we spent like what 2 billion, and like there's only been like a tiny amount of good signings. Like we signed like how many players, like in the end, like the way I look at it is, am I like annoyed, like sad about the result? Sure it is, but like sure I am. But in the grand scheme of things, like I think of it as good too. The reason why I say that is like, hey, like it's more fuel to the fire of like fans protesting, people getting like at this ownership type thing. Like we saw, like I saw on my like news, like literally after this game ended, 2 new protests got scheduled. One in the FA Cup final against City, and another one against Spurs in Stamford Bridge. Um, so we'll see how these two go. And I've been seeing those protests have been doing really well. And now that there's more of these poor results coming, it's more fuel to the fire, and hopefully we see at least more fans come. Will it actually change things? You never know. The one thing I will say though, like you never know what's gonna happen unless you try, right? So
You know what my thing is? I think I said it in January. Or I said it really early on in this pod when we were talking about Chelsea. It must have been after a bad result. I think even with Maresca there was a cultural issue, and that's why you saw us get up for big games and be shit in small games. And I get you guys are talking about the owners, the owners. The culture isn't really set. Like, I guess it can be influenced and can be set by the owners, but a lot of the time when you look at the elite clubs now in terms of teams, it's really they have an amazing manager that comes in and turns the culture around and shapes the culture into what they want the culture to be.
oh, there goes the
Moves
mic.
from there, right? And I think with your club, it was Maresca, Liam, etc., etc. But your culture has always been bad. I think that, yeah, probably reflects your owners a little bit for sure. But I think it's also the fuck's sake. I cut out again. Sorry, I don't know what the hell's wrong with this goddamn.
No, don't worry. We understood. We were saying it's also the players.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
get
no,
what
no,
you
no.
mean.
But I
Yeah,
was,
we get
I was literally just about to say, like, you look at some of these players, and yeah, this wire is being weird. Are you kidding me, bro? What is this nonsense, bro?
I doesn't want to see you go on a tangent against Chelsea.
Okay, bro, I'm not moving this shit no more. I'm just gonna leave this wire as it is. I was touching it and it's frying it. Anyway, my whole point was that you look at some of these players. I think like this is. I don't like to be reactionary when it comes to the way I judge players. If I'm being honest, like even with Garnacho, we clown him, we hate on him, but I still think there's usage there.
You know, there's ability. Yeah.
There's usage there, right? Like this isn't a shit player. It's just there's something wrong with him, right? In the same way, like I don't.
Just call him shit, man. Damn.
Nah.
Same thing.
This guy.
No,
you
no,
make
no.
it seem
Relax,
like
relax.
he's gonna say this, like, there's
That's
something
the
just wrong
same
with him.
term. Please.
No, 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 no. Listen, listen, listen. Let's not be. Listen, listen, listen. My point was that listen, he has a use in a squad, right? But so I want to preface what I'm about to say with that. Like, I don't like to be reactionary when it comes to rating players, but I think and I've shown that with the Gyökeres earlier, with the Zubimendi chat earlier. But I think some of these Chelsea players, man, I could see you guys in 6 months starting the new season on fire, one game a week, and then we go back to Caicedo's the best DM in the world, Enzo's one of the best midfielders in the world, Reece James is the best right back in the world, and I think sometimes we just have to like calm out with these conversations because I think you see it in rough patches the most when a team is in the slumps and when everyone else is shit, you kind of see who stands up. And for us, you've seen it. Bakayo stood up. You've seen Saliba stand up. You've seen Rice stand up, right? Amongst others in our team, Liverpool's team, etc. When shit has gone south. But for you guys, I feel like consistently across this 4 or 5 year tenure of Blueco, a lot of these players that we talk about as some of the best players, when going gets tough, I don't really see them. I think genuinely it's actually funny because I probably like on I think across the season I'd have probably said that Caicedo is better than Enzo, but if I'm being honest, I feel like Enzo is really the one that's consistently, at least this season, stepped up, whereas Caicedo, I think he's since that game where he got a red card against us, I feel like this guy's fallen off a cliff. He went from best 6 in the world to this is just a good 6, right? Like he's a good player, but is he one of the best? Is he even in contention for those type of, is he in those conversations? No. Is he better than, a kind of like 75% Rodri? No, I wouldn't say so, right? So I just think like for me it's yes, the club is, the club, the owners is a big problem because at the end of the day the owners are the people that bought these players. And it's under their regime that these players came in, but also I think these players, man, some of them have gotten away with so much because of the pressure on this ownership. And I think under Roman, there would be a lot more criticism for these players. And yeah, like you have scapegoats like Garnacho and that type of stuff. But you really look at it, I mean, we can go 1 to 11 and we're going to talk about all of our teams at the end of the season anyway and what we would like to see, of course. But you probably go 1 to 11, 1 to 22 in that team and talk about players that, damn near have been overrated, probably every single one of them at some point in the last, 12 months or under Maresca's reign because Maresca was a good coach. I just think that's a massive issue when it comes to you guys is some of these players, Gusto, for example, this guy is a good right back on his day, but he's also a horrible right back on not his day. Do you know what I mean? He's a very 50-50 right back, and you cannot be you cannot be an elite. You cannot be elite when you have defenders that are 50-50, right? For us, our right back is our weakest position, but that's because White isn't washed. But even then, most of the time he's solid, right? And when he does make errors, usually they might lead to goal, but usually they don't. Mascara, same thing. He'll make some errors. He's young, but it's kind of on the same track, right? I think my point is with all of this is that there's too many of these players are overrated, right? And so you have expectations for these players. Cole Palmer, that Cole Palmer was in conversation for the best 10 in the world maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, and now it's brother. I'm watching him and it genuinely it's horrible. He
No,
looks
he's trash. Like
he looks
Yeah,
he
horrid.
looks
but
so
again, I
much
want to get into
slower.
the end of the game.
He looks so much slower. He doesn't look like he has any like quality in his final action. When he's carrying the ball, he doesn't have the same power that he looked like he used to. And it's like, brother, like, are you really is this really just the surgery? Like, is that what it is? You need surgery? I don't know, but this fall off is insane. He was at the top of the world not so long ago. I think he scored. Was it the Euro final they scored, or was it the semifinals?
The Euro final.
It was
Yep.
the final,
final.
right? Because I remember Saka to Bellingham, Bellingham to Palmer. Okay, cool. So it was the final. Yeah. So you go from the top of the world scoring the Euro final, and now what is it? Damn near 2 years later, and
And you're
I'm
probably
looking
not
at
gonna
you
make the
like
World Cup squad.
I'm looking at you like you should not make the
Yeah.
World Cup squad. If we're being honest, Foden and him both should not make the World Cup squad. There's no reason
They
to
shouldn't
have
be on that
them.
plane, bro.
No, yeah, no.
But it
There's
just
much better players like this season
Not
as
even that, bro.
Morgan Gibbs White, you know.
Gonna look at those type of players as well, and even Morgan Rogers as well. But honestly, I was saving kind of the Cole Palmer until the end. But another one on the topic, I might as well bring it up. But yo, even this guy on penalties, right? We're calling him a pen merchant, bro. He had so
This
much
guy's
time to
not even
take that
confident
pen.
anymore. Yeah.
He's not even, bro. You know what it is? Like we were seeing this with Salah earlier, where like you could see that the confidence in him has completely depleted. It has completely left his soul. And before he even stepped up to take the penalty against, I think it was Galatasaray, he missed it. Everyone saw it coming, and then weeks later, he had a chance to get a pen against Man City in the FA Cup. Everyone already knew he was gonna miss before that, right? And before Palmer even, he had 10 minutes, I believe, like 8 minutes to kind of think about where he's gonna put it. The pen was not that bad of a pen, but if you think about Cole Palmer's pens, that's what he's mainly been known for this season specifically. And even that, it didn't even look confident. And the way he reacted later, it just felt like he was like, "Yeah, shit, I knew that. I knew it was coming."
I wouldn't even say he's like known for pens like this season.
No,
I
I'm
would just
saying
say
this.
like
I'm not
this
saying he's
season
known
he's
for
just
pens.
been
I'm saying
trash.
this season,
Like
yeah, this season he's been a lot of his goals have been pens. So at least you have him in
yeah.
that reliable aspect. But even then, he couldn't deliver, right? So I think that's kind of like the first sign of you're thinking, yo, his confidence is really it's leaving the pitch, right?
It's hard. Like and I'm thinking of it too. Like I feel bad because it's like he's playing through an injury, and he kind of did it because like World Cup pressure, and now he's not even going to make the World Cup squad. And since he played through the injury, it's probably way worse than it is now, and he has a confidence issue. So I feel bad for the guy, but like, dude, like at some point you got to call it quits and be like, yo, I need to take the surgery, I need to take time off, like that type of thing, and go back at it. And I hope we see the Cole Palmer that we see in 2024 at some point in his career. But you've really dug yourself into a hole with the confidence issue plus playing through the injuries, you know, that type of thing that it's I'll be honest, like it's not looking good, right?
Exactly, and like Chris said already, like if you're looking at teams that are performing well, you're looking for players who's going to be that player to step up.
Yeah, he's gonna step up, yeah.
Exactly, right?
And
he should be
and,
the
and
one.
like yeah, he should be that guy, but like, he's not he's the guy who's stepping up for us is like the guy who like 2 weeks ago was like
Oh my
Madrid's
God.
a pretty city and like wanted to leave. You get what I mean? Like,
Enzo and wait, also sorry, like just to interrupt, we completely have not mentioned João Pedro as one of the other players that have been stepping up. João Pedro has
oh yeah,
been
João
stepping
Pedro
up.
too.
He's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
consistent.
João Pedro has been
We
stepping up,
completely
yeah.
forgot to mention him, and that's why I had to interrupt because like that is blasphemy. Like he is, if we're talking about beside Derry, it's no.
That was Mike.
Beside Derry that game, it was João Pedro, and this whole rough patch has been. Besides them two, it was Enzo. Sorry, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Obviously,
like
it's because he
nonetheless.
got shadowed a little bit because of he was out for a couple games in the middle of that little drought. I think he was out for Man U game, and
Yeah,
he
the
was out
Man
for
U game.
against
Yeah.
Brighton, I believe. But
I
yeah,
don't know
either
about
way,
Brighton,
I
but
think I'm pretty sure he was out against Brighton. I'm pretty sure Delap started. But yeah, I think, bro, honestly, yeah, you guys had a crazy goal drought, but honestly, what a way to kill the goal drought. That was an amazing goal, by the way.
what
It's
an
it's so
amazing
it's
goal.
it's so unfortunate that ultimately in the end it means nothing.
It's so
But
it's like low-key sad too, because like half the stadium was empty and you're already 3-0 down.
oh my
Like
god, dude, I
that
wish I
fucking
pulled up my phone to
banger.
get a photo. Pulled up my phone to get a photo of all the fans leaving. I swear half the stadium was gone by
Yeah.
like the 60th, 65th minute.
Like
It
I
was
feel the
it was
saddest thing
bad.
is like the goal, like that like marvelous goal like can't even be celebrated. Like
Yeah, you have to be
you
like,
can't even
yo,
feel
it is what it
you
is.
can't
Like,
even feel good about it because like fuck like you're
He's
in a
been good.
bad time.
He's been really
Yeah,
good, though. Jao Pedro.
he's been great,
but
but that's what I'm saying. Like honestly, like Enzo and João Pedro have been coming through, but like
and honestly, I feel like Cucurella should belong in the conversation too. I
He's
don't think he's.
50-50
I think
though, I feel
he's
like.
he's
50-50, but
50-50, dude.
he's 50-50. But yeah, I'd still say you more so see him trying to make something work. Like for
Well,
example, even
well,
if you think
he's
about
50-50, but at
Liverpool.
least he's 50-50.
But he's
You
also
get what I
still
mean?
been a very big fall off. Like you look at Prime
Mm.
Cucurella versus or Prime Cucurella versus right now, and he is much worse right now still.
Yeah, no, for
So
sure.
I'm saying
I
like
feel
in this patch that they're having, I'd still say he's a player that stands out as trying to do something. And I feel like you know, you know what's even funny? There's various screenshots on Twitter where it's like, the moment where Liverpool, Man U, and Chelsea were all racing for the fourth position, and at one point we're all tied at 48 points.
Mm.
Yeah,
and then we stayed at 48.
and then obviously that's the moment where we went we got the news that Reece James was injured, right?
Yeah.
Oh my
We
god,
we
no
all
way.
knew we all knew that like at that point your top four hopes might be cooked, but I don't think that we expected it to be cooked to this level.
Cooked to the point
And
where like we're
even
sitting at the same amount of points 2 months later.
think that you guys are still sitting at 48 points is actually wild. That's actually so crazy to me.
He's really good, but he should not make or break your team the way he does.
Oh no, it's not a make or break, but it's just crazy. Like
No,
that, like we were saying that obviously they're gonna fall off, but to fall off to this
You, you
extent,
know, you know,
no,
you know. I'll
I'm
tell you
saying
one thing.
no. What I'm saying is that he should like he is very good, but what I'm saying is he shouldn't make or break. But right now he does make or break them. Every single time
yeah,
he's out, these
Mm.
guys fall off a cliff, and I get
yeah,
it. Yeah, like yo, your right back is worse now, but bloody hell, you should not fall off
Yeah,
this
no, because
badly
it's
because of a
just
right
because your
back.
right back is out. Like, bro, I get it. Right backs have a great importance, and Reece James is a really really good player, but bloody hell, you know what I mean? Like, that's
yeah,
crazy.
it's insane. Like I would argue like the fall off like was because of Maresca sacking, like firstly, but like yeah, the Reece James injury too should not even
Honestly,
be.
even after he got sacked under Rossini, he was still doing pretty good. I'd still say he was up there as a top
Yeah,
player,
but like at the same time too, like dude, like
obviously
the
yes, I
the
get what you
run
mean.
of the run of games we had like were
You
like
know what it is? It's
simple at
more
the
so
time.
the fact that Maresca knew how to load manage him, and the fact that Rossini didn't is what started to fry him over time. And then at one point we knew he was gonna get injured, and then that time came.
Well,
So
not even like load managing, it's like different role
Pause.
too, motherfucker. But
I mean,
that's
bro,
one
do we
one
have
tiny
anything
flex
else
to
to
the
say
cap.
about Chelsea? Because it's been an hour
yeah,
30.
yeah, it's not like
I
we have
think
nothing
I
to
think that's
say.
it.
It's just consistency.
Otherwise, same issues, bro. Same
Do we
disciplinary
even have a
issues.
game to preview? Like, I guess the FA Cup final? Like,
Oh, you know the best thing about this? You know what we're doing next game? We're playing Liverpool in Anfield.
Oh yeah, I forgot. You guys are playing
We're
Liverpool.
we're
Oh my
playing
god.
that's
Liverpool in
fries.
Anfield.
That's actually
Anfield.
fries. You're fucked.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
so
not gonna lie,
good,
bro.
man.
Even though Anfield hasn't been Anfield this season, you guys might
I
be
don't know
cooked
why
here.
I'm feeling a 1-1 João Pedro goal. That's what I'm
Feeling a
No, we're
feeling.
gonna get
1-1.
cooked, man.
I'm
Dude,
probably gonna say 2-0 Liverpool. I hate to say it, but I'll probably say 2-0 Liverpool.
it might be more, man. Honestly,
This guy.
No. Trust me,
With
it's
the
not good
way
anymore.
Liverpool are
Loki, it's
horrible,
good if
man.
it's more too, because like people will actually be like showing up to these
Bro, I'm
fucking
telling you,
protests.
Liverpool are horrible. It's gonna be like it's gonna be one of
They're bad,
those
bro.
where
I don't know if you guys saw social media from the first half of our game. Like they got completely exposed from first half. Like
Liverpool
trust
are
me,
so bad, bro.
they are so
So
horrible. But
bad. The fact
one
that
of those
we
things where it's
dropped,
like
the fact that we only got 1 point against them this season is actually the bane of my like it hurts.
I think that was the more depressing
Mhm.
point. I saw like that was more. I think I saw a lot of Arsenal fans being like, "How the heck did we only get 1 point out of two
To be
games from this
fair, they
Liverpool side?"
played good against us both times. Like they raised
They
it,
did
you
play.
can
They
tell.
did play good against you guys, but
But anyway, man, let's wrap this shit up, bro. It's been an
yeah,
hour
it
30.
is what it is.
Yeah, let's
Yo,
wrap it up.
Ashton, you wanna wrap it up?
All right. Well, happy days for some, rainy days for others. Still 3 games left to go. Title race is getting closer and closer, but is it going in Arsenal's favor? We'll see. As for others, Man United, I guess we're probably in the most neutral position possible. Win, lose, doesn't really matter. Just don't get injured for the love of God and try to break that assist record. And Chelsea, just try to score a goal.
Nah.
Try to win a game.
Fair, no,
No, score a goal first.
Just score a goal, yeah. Just
Fair.
score a goal, please. Okay. Fair.